Well, this is different. Due to the current health situation, we can't have the concerts at Shawnee Inn in the lobby or out on the lawn. So here I am in front of my house recording an hour of concert to be shown this coming Tuesday, 7 to 8, at the Shawnee Inn Facebook page. I'm Uncle Pete Taney. Welcome to Shawnee. This is my house. Right over here is the Shawnee Playhouse. Down there's the Shawnee Inn. I live in Shawnee. And here's my first tune's an original. There was a changeling child stolen by the fairies, left in a frog pond for 30 years. Well, he's back. He's half amphibian. He's trying to be human with mixed results. This is the Ballad of Henlow Bullfrog. Henlow, Henlow Bullfrog, your skin is clammy and cold. There's water dripping from your coattails. You're a frog down in your soul. Oh, Henlow, Henlow Bullfrog, you've been human for just one day. Too many years in an old frog pond where the fairies stole you away. Too many years, can't help himself, too many years, can't help himself. Henlow, Henlow Bullfrog, oh, spit that eyeball out. Oh, who knows what is seen now in the damp and cold, cold ground. Dig a hole in the meadow. Dig a hole in the cold, cold ground. I'm gonna dig a frog pond and put you back in the water where you belong. Too many years, can't help himself, too many years, can't help himself. Wake up, old Henlow, what makes you sleep so sound? Oh, men with nets are coming, they're gonna put you in a freak show now. And the last time I saw old Henlow, he was crouched down in the sand, had a dragonfly sticking out of his mouth and another one in his hand. Too many years, can't help himself, too many years, can't help himself. Oh, Henlow, Henlow Bullfrog, your skin is clammy and cold. There's water dripping from your coattail. You're a frog down in your soul. Oh, Henlow, Henlow Bullfrog, your skin is clammy and cold. There's water dripping from your coattail. You're a frog down in your soul. Ballad of Henlow Bullfrog. You can applaud. I have an audience. One of my neighbors stopped by. Well, you know, I'm going to be talking about the African origins of the American banjo. And the banjo has been a storytelling instrument going all the way back to its days in West Africa. So I'm going to do a story song with no words. In case you just joined us, I'm Uncle Pete Taney, playing here in Shawnee for the Shawnee Community Concert Series. and doing a lot of different instruments here today. Baker's dozen of instruments. I have to tell you, I'm cheating. I'm counting my feet as one of the instruments, but we'll get to that. So the banjo's been a storytelling instrument. This is a story with no words. It's just sounds. The low sounds, that's the big guy. And the high sounds, that's the little guy. And the big guy's a bully. He just said to the little guy, "Why, you can't play banjo. I'm going to play something on the banjo. You have to play it back." And so the bully starts. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, it's turning into a porch concert, I guess. I love it. I thought I'd be out here all by myself in the street. So, the banjo, like I said, went back to West Africa, and really it's two instruments if you break it down. It's a drum and it's a stick with strings. So we're going to go to the more ancient part of that and play some West African drumming. Chair over here. This is a chant that I learned from my African drumming teacher, Maxwell Kofi Donkor, of the Ashanti people of Ghana, West Africa. It's called Amanko. Amanko means the elephant. And it's about raising your energy and your courage when you're faced with something big and scary, kind of like an empty street to play. Anyway, when I say, hey, the answer is, oh, say. Oh, say just means, yes, come on, let's go. So help me out at home. Give me a little energy here. Hey, Yakwe. Yakwe, Amankwe. Amankobe, hey, oh, say. Amankobe, 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 Yakwe, Yakwe, Amankwe, Amankobe, hey, oh say, Amankobe, Amankobe. Amankobe, 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 Amankobe. So there's the drum half of the banjo. How about the stick and the strings? Now, the story goes, we only have stories to go on, going back this far in history. The story goes there was a lonely hunter out on somewhere in the plains with his bow and his arrow and a few other things he needed to stay alive while he hunted. He couldn't bring his drum. He had to move fast. So at night he was kind of lonely for his home and his hearth and for his drum. He wanted to play some music to kind of cheer himself up. He's out all by himself out there hunting. And he finally thought, well, let's see, what else could I make music with? He said, well, I've got an arrow, I've got a bow. Well, here, try tapping the arrow on the bow. Get that, here, let me get that a little closer to a mic here. You can hear what that sounds like. And there's still places around the world where people tap a stick on a string of a bow. And it's considered to be one of the most ancient most ancient stringed instruments. But sooner or later, someone figured out a way to improve on that. And they said, well, let's try using the mouth to amplify that sound. I'm going to put it up to the side of my jaw. I'm not making any sounds with my mouth at all. I'm just changing the shape of my mouth. Well, here it is amplified now. Amplifies it in my mouth, and I change the shape of my mouth. So you get, I'm picking out different parts of the sound with the shape of my mouth. So you get a few other notes. Not all the notes, but enough of them to play this old-time tune. I learned it from Buffy St. Marie back in the 60s, and it's been played by many different people, Good Tanner and the Skillet Lickers, and people going all the way back to 1912. A tune called Boys Keep Kicking My Dog Around. Well, me and Ben Biggs and old Bill Brown thought we'd take a walk to town. My old gin dog, he's an ornery cuss. He decided to follow us every time I go to town. Boys keep kicking my dog around. Makes no difference if he's a hound. Make that dog around. Well, we went by Bill Johnson's store. A couple of boys came out the door, screaming and yelling and throwing rocks. Chased my gym dog under a box. Every time I go to town, boys keep kicking my dog around. Makes no difference if he's a hound. Gotta quit kicking my dog around. Gotta quit kicking my dog around. Gotta quit kicking my dog around. So that's the mouth bow. And there's many variations on that as well. But what finally happened was someone decided to try attaching the mouth bow to the drum. So you get a sound like this. Get this mic down here where you can hear it. So here's the sound of the bow all by itself. I'm going to touch it to the drum head. And the drum head amplifies the sound of the string, same way that a speaker in a radio works. So there's your world's first banjo type instrument, with a bow attached to a drum. And they've been making very, very interesting, very simple bow, string, drum instruments in the area of the Congo River for forever, and they're still making them. And I have a reproduction of one right here. I need this mic. So in this case, as you can see, the stick has been put under the skin all the way down here and comes out the other end. You have 3 strings, got a gourd body, gourd for the drum, the body of the drum, goat skin over the gourd, and you got the longest string is a low note, and the next longest string is a middle note, and the little short string is a high note. And I'll talk a little bit more about that high note on my 5-string banjo. So I'm going to play a tune and sing in a local dialect that's from along the Congo River, and this is a tune called "In Praise of the Great King Yaha Yaha." Uh-oh. Gotta tune it. You get to see me, no tuning pegs. Get to see me tune this thing a little bit here. Okay. Gotta slide these collars. Yeah, got it. All right. So here's some praise of the great king. Yaha, yaha. Oh, ba, ya, ya, ba, na, la, ya, ya, wa, do, danye, da, grilly, zone, jumbo, de, danyo, maharo, ma, wa, ma, do, oh, ba. What I'm saying is this. Praise to the great King Yaha Yaha, for he is a wise and honest man. He has me, the griot, storyteller, come to his house to tell the stories of his great and illustrious past and all of his wonderful ancestors, and he's going to buy me lunch or feed me while I'm here. So it's a thank you song from a musician. And in the same way, I'd like to thank the Shawnee Inn for all its support for the community concert series all these years and all the other wonderful things that they support and the wonderful events that they have down there at the Shawnee Inn. So thank you, Shawnee Inn. Oh, ba, ya, ya, ba, na, da, yawa, yawa, do, dane, ka, dili, zon, jambole, danyo, maro, ma, wa, do, oh, ba. So when the Africans were looking around for stuff to make their instruments on this continent, they found some of the same things. Chair out of the way. You still find a gourd, and you know, they found the strings they needed. Then they saw some things they'd never seen before. They saw a Spanish guitar. It had a long flat place to press the strings and all these different combinations, get lots and lots of different notes. They said they liked that. So they took an old board from a lumber mill and put an old board along here for the neck. And then they saw a busted Irish fiddle. And so they borrowed the pegs. Big improvement on tuning, let me tell you. Winding the string around the peg instead of tying it on that collar and trying to get that thing tuned. And even carved the end of the board to look like the scroll of a fiddle peg head. This is a reproduction of about a 1840 plantation banjo. And the same thing happened to the songs that happened to the musical instruments. The Africans heard the English sing a song. Frog went a courting and he did ride, sword and pistol by his side. And they changed it then. Frog went a courting and he did ride, Frog went a courting and he did ride, sword and pistol by his side, And they just totally changed it. Kept the melody, same way that the Africans kept taking things from different cultures and putting them together in a new way. Here's a song I just wrote using the gourd body banjo called Loosey Goosey. See what makes you smell so good. Been bathing in the moonbeams in a fairy neighborhood, fairy neighborhood, fairy neighborhood, fairy neighborhood. Oh, Lucy, oh, Goosey, I see you grinning there. Come hither, look in your eye, fingers in your hair, fingers in your hair, fingers in your hair, fingers in your hair. So long, Mr. Bullfrog, take the blues the other way. Ring the banjo, blow the harp, with Lucy's tips away, to lay upon the mossy bank, looking wild and fey, looking wild and fey, looking wild and fey, looking wild and ho! What makes you taste so good? You've been feeding on the milkweed like the butterflies they would. Butterflies they would. Butterflies they would. Butterflies they would. Oh, Lucy, oh, Lucy, what makes you feel so good? Your sweat rains down upon me like spring water in the wood. 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 So long, Mr. Bullfrog, take your blues the other way. Ring the banjo, blow the harp as Lucy skips away to lay upon the mossy bank, looking wild and fey, looking wild and fey, looking wild and fey, looking wild and fey. Ho! What makes you cry and moan? My hugs and my kisses, or my magic banjo tone, my ringing banjo tone, my magic banjo tone, my ringing banjo tone. So long, Mr. Bullfrog, take your blues the other way. Ring the banjo, blow the harp as Lucy skips away to lay upon the mossy bank, looking wild and fey, 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 looking wild and fey. Now, some people say she's a figment of my imagination, but I love her so. So there you got the way that banjos were being made in the mid-19th century. And pretty soon, you know, believe it or not, the banjo is the loudest plucked string instrument in the band, and they got real popular with dance bands, so they made them bigger and louder, and they made the rims a lot of metal on them until they were looking like the banjo I started out on the first song. But even then, people are still looking for ways to use African technology and American junk to help out the music. So long after they started making banjos with lots of metal parts like this one, they're still using African technology and American junk. Get some other sounds. In Africa, they would use a piece of bamboo, blowing it for bass tones, and you got a jug and use that. And when the Africans heard the Germans playing the harmonica, the Germans would play it like this. And the Germans saw, the Africans said, well, that's nice. Let's try playing it backwards and mostly blowing in. And they invented blues harp. Here's the St. Louis Blues. 'Cause my gal's got a heart like a rock cast in the sea. St. Louis woman with her diamond ring, lead a man around by her apron strings. If it weren't for powder or store-bought hair, that woman of mine, she wouldn't go nowhere, no nowhere. Watch out now. Why do you shake my tree? You don't like peaches? Why do you shake my tree? Get out of my orchard, let my peaches be. I got those same little blues, I'm as blue as I can be. Same little blues, I'm as blue as I can be. 'Cause my gal's got a heart like a rock cast in the sea. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I got some people stopped by to be an audience here in this empty street. This is the concert that's going to be aired 7 to 8 on Tuesday. The concerts they were having inside the inn or out on the lawn. Well, can't have them now, so I'm in Shawnee. I'm taping a concert, and we'll air it on the Shawnee Inn Facebook page 7 to 8 on Tuesday. Talking about homemade instruments and the African origins of the banjo. And you know, whoops, even if you don't play an instrument, everybody's always within a certain number of feet of a pair of spoons. And any of you guys here could learn to play spoons, I guarantee it. I need a chair though. The whole trick is how you hold the spoons. You want to hold one spoon steady, that's sort of rigid in your hand, and the bottom spoon goes upside down, that's kind of floppy, and that's the trick. And that takes a little practice sometimes to get them just right. See if I can get my pucker going here. Whoa! Whoa! That's something you can try at home. I'm going to combine these with something else now. Once again, going back to Africa, they'd find a jawbone of a large animal like a cow or a horse, and they take a stick and rub it across the teeth of the jawbone. Of course, once again, African technology, American junk. So we're using the washboard. I got a little too much reverb happening here. That knob got bumped. Yeah, there we go. That's a little better. So we're gonna, as time went on, we upgraded the rub boards, made them look a little bit more like this is a stainless steel rub board. And we're going to do that. I'm going to go down to New Orleans and Mardi Gras. And here's the theme song of the Wild Chapatulas. And you at home can try this. I'll call something out. I want you to call back. Hey now. Hey now. I can't quite hear you. A little louder. Got to come through the wires. Hey now. All right. It's Iko Iko on day. Well, my grandma and your grandma sitting by the fire. My grandma told your grandma, don't set your flag on fire. Talk about hey now, like one day, Chakamofi on You'll see my gal all dressed in red, like one day. She's got a pistol right under her bed. Chakamofi on talk about hey now. Hey now, like one day, Chakamofi on Chakamofi on Well, do it and do that, like one day, body rub on, get the heck out of here. Chakamofi on talk about hey now, like one day, Chakamofi on Chakamofi on Well, I got a gal from New Orleans, like the one day. She's real pretty and took on the feet. Talk about Finale, talk about hey now, like the one day. Talk about Finale, talk about one more time now, hey now, like the one day. Talk about Finale, talk about Finale, talk about Finale, talk about Finale. And that's the rub board. Now, we were talking a little earlier in the program about making the banjo out of a mouth bow and a drum. Well, here's another extension of the same idea. In West Africa, they'd find a sapling, a skinny baby chews some whip to it, and they dig a hole in the ground next to the sapling, and then they tie a string. They stick a piece of goat skin over the hole and tie a string to the goat skin and a tree and actually play the tree. And it's played by, you kind of stretch that string. I'm going to get a microphone in so you can hear it better. Yep. Try that. So the more I pull on that string, the more it stretches it. The more I let down on it, go down on it, the lower the note gets. And you can make one of these really easy. You just need a tub and a string and a stick. Put that mic under there. Yeah, try that. So I'm just stretching that string back and forth. Now I'm going to get a harmonica and a rack and play another Mardi Gras tune. Here's a tune called Go to Mardi Gras. If you go to New Orleans, you've got to go to the Mardi Gras. Yes, if you go to New Orleans, you've got to go to the Mardi Gras. Yes, if you go to Mardi Gras, somebody gonna show you what carnival for. Get your ticket in your hand, you're gonna go to New Orleans. Yes, get your ticket in your hand, you got to go to New Orleans. Yes, when you go to New Orleans, somebody gonna show you the Zulu Queen. Yes, if you go to New Orleans, somebody gonna show you the Zulu Queen. Well, you stand right there at St. Charles and you man. Yes, if you stand right there at St. Charles and you man. Yes, if you stand right there, somebody gonna show you the Zulu King. If you go to New Orleans, somebody gonna show you the Mardi Gras. Yes, if you go to New Orleans, somebody gonna show you the Mardi Gras. And they show you the Mardi Gras, somebody gonna show you what carnival for. Woo! And that's the tub, which is really just another version of an improvised stringed instrument using African technology and American junk. Yeah. So you can get yourself some spoons or a rub board or washboard. Make some really good music out of stuff you have laying around the house. And I'm looking for something here that got knocked down in the grass. There it is. Here's another version of that, the mouthball I played a little earlier. When in this case, instead of a string, you have a little piece of spring on a frame that you put up your teeth, and you get a sound you've all heard in cartoons. And these are easy to put in your pocket, so a lot of immigrant people who didn't have a lot of money or couldn't really carry much stuff with them had one of these in their pocket. And that's a lot of the Irish people that came over to build the Erie Canal and build the railroads in this country in the early 19th century. You find a lot of these in jaw harps in the archaeological sites around where they used to work. So here's a couple of Irish tunes. Top of Cork Road and the Wind Shakes the Barley. That's the jaw. So that's got the tub, you've got the rub boards, you've got the spoons. Jaw harp's a little more complicated, but you could find one of those in a music store too. So let's see. Oh yeah, and then where'd it go? Let's see, I had this right here. When the African people heard the Cajun people calling people to dinner with the dinner bell, come and get y'all before I throw it to the alligators. They said, well, we have that in West Africa. We call it chanka-chank. Here's how you play it. Chanka-chank. The sound it makes. Chanka-chanka, chanka-chanka. And you hear this a lot with all kinds of Cajun fiddle music, and Cajun accordion music. I'm going to play a little something right here. This is a Cajun tune that Hank Williams Sr. wrote some English words for. Well, we're running out of time outdoors, so I had to move inside to finish up this concert here in my studio. So anyway, a bunch of you guys probably know the chorus for this one. Help me out on Jambalaya. 1, 2, 3. Goodbye, Joe. You gotta go, me oh my oh. You gotta go hold that pirogue down by oh. See Yvonne, sweetest one, me oh my oh. Son of a gun, we're gonna have big fun on the bayou. Get jambalaya, crawfish pie, filet gumbo. 'Cause tonight I'm gonna see Mama Cherio. Big guitar, fill fruit jar, and the gale. Son of a gun, we're gonna have big fun on the bayou. Oh, Thibaudot, Fontenot, the place is buzzing. Kinfolk come to see Yvonne by the dozen. Dressed in style, the whole wild, me oh my oh. Son of a gun, we're gonna have big fun on the bayou. Get jambalaya, crawfish pie, filet gumbo. 'Cause tonight I'm gonna see Mama Cherio. Big guitar, fill fruit jar, and the gale. Son of a gun, we're gonna have big fun on the bayou. settle down far from town. Get me a Piron. I'm gonna catch all those fish out on the bayou. Get some mud, get in line, what you know. Son of a gun, we're gonna have big fun on the bayou. Get jambalaya, crawfish pie, filet gumbo. Cause tonight I'm gonna see Mama Cherio. Pick guitar, fill the jar, and be gay-o. Son of a gun, we're gonna have big fun on the bayou. One more time, get jambalaya, crawfish pie, filet gumbo. Cause tonight I'm gonna see Mama Cherio. Pick guitar, fill the jar, and be gay-o. Son of a gun, we're gonna have big fun on the bayou. Yeah. Oh, favorite Cajun tune. Well, you know, we played these Cajun dances for years and played this one waltz a lot, the old Carpenter's waltz, or in French, Valse de Vieux Carpentier. And I always look for some words for it because my dad made things out of wood, and really, you know, I just loved the smell of the wood and the feel of it. And he'd be working in his shop and let me play with a bent nail and an old piece of wood and a hammer over and a pile of sawdust by the corner. So, I don't know, I kind of grew up loving wood. Finally had to write some words for my dad, Charlie. So here's the old Carpenter's waltz. Oh, the heart of a tree loves a carpenter's hand, like a child loves a toy made by her old man. And in the heart of a tree runs a river of time, and her waves and her shores run through the things made by Dad. Where the savins fill the air with the scent of piney mountain, and the sawdust pile grows soft as goose feather down. How the pedestals stand the case of rosewood dark as burgundy, rub the wax from bee's hive into grain deep inside. Of a tree, draw the earth to its heart, like a child takes a shine through the carpenter's art. And I grew in the shade, and the smell the wood had, and every chip from my blade comes from the things made by Dad. Where the shavings fill the air with the scent of piney mountain, and the sawdust pile grows soft as goose feather down. Are the pedestals and the case of rosewood dark as burgundy, rub the wax from bee's hive into grain deep inside. Now the rings of a tree show the years circle round, and that circle still turns in the heart of a bowl. Now Dad turns the bowl like he's dancing with Mom around the family tree. And the things made by Dad, through the shavings fill the air with the scent of piney mountain, and the sawdust pile grows soft as goose feather down. Are the pedestals and the case of rosewood dark as burgundy, rub the wax from bee's hive into grain deep inside. That's for you, Charlie. Well, it appears that I haven't put the pick on I need, so I will be right back. Let's get this pick on. I've long been fascinated by the connection between Appalachia and West Africa, as you can see from the rest of this program. And there's one country in particular, the little landlocked country of Mali, 2/3 the size of Alaska, which has had millennia of different musical traditions, drumming, praise singing, the and West African cousins of my banjo, all kinds of things going on for so long. So it's a real cornucopia of music in West Africa. But that ain't all. Mali's got the mysterious Dogon people living up in the cliff tops and communicating with fish-like extraterrestrials. Gave them secret knowledge. So my mind's made up. I got to go to Mali. We're going to finish up with this original tune. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And come on back to Shawnee sometime. My mind made up. I got to go to Mali. Yeah, my mind made up. I got to go, 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 go. My mind made up. I got to go to Mali. Yeah, my mind made up. I got to mind made up. I got to go to Mali. Yeah, my mind made up. I got to go, 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 go. My mind made up. I got to go to Mali. Yeah, my mind made up. I got to, oh yeah. Well, those Dogon people, well, they live in the cliff tops, and those Dogon people, well, they look to the sky. Those Dogon people, well, we play the same tunes, yeah. Those Dogon people, well, I gotta know why. The sun comes up, the moon swings round, oh, oh, oh. The dog starts singing without a sound, oh, oh, oh. My mind made up, gotta go to Mali. Yeah, my mind made up, gotta go, 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 go. My mind made up, gotta go to Mali. Yeah, my mind made up, I got a mind made up. Yeah, my mind, oh, hey, my mind, hey, my mind made up. Yeah, my mind, oh, my mind made up. Hey, those Dogon people, they're a serious people. Yeah, those Dogon people, when they dance to the sky, those Dogon people, they are serious people, yeah. Those Dogon people, well, I gotta know why. The ocean of space, it knows no bounds, oh. I hear its song on solid ground, oh. Oh, 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 down, down. Thanks for coming. Thanks for listening. Thanks for staying. Thanks for playing. And I'll see you again.